During my time on the Navajo reservation back in the mid 80s, serving as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints, various companions, all of them good men. You can maybe ask me sometime and I can give you more details or, names of the witnesses, but various places along the journey, the 18-month journey that I was in Arizona, New Mexico. Um, I visited many places, and most of my time in Arizona, New Mexico was spent assigned to the Navajo reservation. And legends and lore of the Adloshi Skinwalkers um, were rampant. Everybody had a story, everybody was excited about it. And I'm here to tell you that the stories are maybe far fetched for you to believe, but in my experiences going various places, there was uh, evidence of these creatures, these beings, and I've talked before in episode 1, 2, and 3. It is a ritualist, a cult. It is a religion, and they follow Satan. And in order to receive this power that they have, this transformation, this morphing from human into a apparently a creature, and some people would say they look more like cryptids than actual um, creature of choice. Like they say, you can be a bear, you can be a coyote, you can be a wolf, you can be whatever. Pick an animal, cougar. But sightings of these Edloshi, the Navajo word for skinwalker, um, they kind of defy the exactness of the literal, cougar or wolf or coyote, etc., groundhog. But in my time, in the 18 months, there were many stories and reports. Quite a few reports came from Navajo Rangers, which was the law enforcement on the reservation. And these were people you didn't trifle with. They were deadly serious. And they took reports, not like a UFO, not with a scoff and a titter and a giggle. They would actually call out a SWAT team, and they would go and they would search this creature down. And I mean, they take it very, very seriously on the reservation. It is no joke. In my experiences, I've been places that were absolutely creepy. And at the height of my spirituality, quite in tune with the Holy Ghost, quite sensitive to spiritual things. And when I say creepy, I'm talking about hair standing up on the back of your neck, standing up on your arms, the willies telling you, get the hell out of there now. Um, I've been in places where there were human beings, but the look that they carried with them, the countenance, was very suspect. You would say their countenance was evil. In one particular community between Gallup, New Mexico, and Fort Wingate and Church Rock, New Mexico, was a place called Coyote Canyon. Dun dun dun, Coyote Canyon. And it was a stockade. You had to actually open the gates, stockade gates, and pull in. And one day, Dave and I had Dave George, my companion, senior companion. We had a missionary referral, believe it or not, to this location. And as we pulled the truck in, the very first thing was this feeling of no, no, we've got to leave right now. And as I looked out through the windshield and out through the side window in this Ford Ranger pickup truck, the people that were looking at us were all male, and they were very angry. Like, what are you two white boys doing here? And they knew who we were. On the Navajo reservation, the black and white missionary name tag saying Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was like saying U.S. Marshal or immigration. It was that plain, that very very clear symbol. So the feeling, the impression that we both got was that this was an evil place, and it could very well have been a setup. The referral was not followed up on. We backed out of there and left. And there have been other instances where I went to a place, a road from Church Rock to Pinedale, New Mexico. On the road, there is a national monument kind of site. The U.S. Forest Service maintains it, theoretically. It's in the middle of the desert. It's a nothing spot. And in order to find it, it's Kit Carson's cave. In order to find it, you got to walk, and you head toward a building, a log cabin, rustic looking place. You walk toward the cabin, then you hang a right, and you go up a slight grade, and then you hang a left, and there it is. It's probably a 30 to 40 foot tall opening in the rocks, and probably, I don't know, 15, 20 feet wide. And you go up in there, and it's quite a steep grade. And when you get at the top, you turn around and you can see a beautiful vista of the Arizona desert, New Mexico desert, the vermilion sand, and the cliffs and mesas and hills, and just really beautiful. A lot of pinon trees, really nice. And you look around, and then you realize that this was the site that Kit Carson and maybe a dozen Utes from Utah, Ute Indians, that were contracted by the U.S. military to hunt down renegade Navajo, and one tribe against another. Yes, calling them down from Utah to hunt down, fellow First Nation people. And that led to a great deal of animosity for many, many years between the two tribes, even after the Navajos had theoretically been subdued. But the feat that Carson carried off was there were two places in the cave, and then there was the top of the hill and the back of the cave, where maybe you could have hidden 20 people from rifle rounds, but if the Navajos had enough rifles and enough water, they would have killed them all. But two places in the cave, one to the left, one to the right, which were natural shells. And from these natural shells, the riflemen, cavalry, and Utes could pick off the Navajos if they were to charge up that slope into the cave. And there was water in the back of the cave. I wouldn't try to drink it now, but back then I imagine it was probably fairly clear. But in exploring this cave, my companion, Johnny Tabby, who incidentally was a Ute from Utah, and I we were kind of looking around. We didn't bring any flashlights or anything. We were just kind of, kicking around, exploring. There was in the back of this cave, there was a wall and a hole in the wall. And inside the hole, uh, this behind this wall, there was the spring that was the water source for Kit Carson, and they waited out the renegade Navajos. The Navajos basically gave up and left Kit Carson and his survivors. But the creepiness of that spot, I couldn't tell, and Tabby couldn't really tell me either. But I couldn't tell if the spirit that I was feeling were the spirits of the dead, the people that had died there, or if it was something more ominous. But it was an interesting experience nonetheless. And even though it was a harsh experience, nonetheless, it was a spiritual learning experience. And that's story number 4, or episode 4, in talking about the land of enchantment and the Navajo Reservation and Skinwalkers.